Black with Garland and Calvin. I'm Calvin. He's Garland, and we are here again doing double duty today. And today we'll be discussing the two episodes that aired last night: Queen Sugar, season 5, episode 8, titled June 3rd, 2020. And This Is Us, season 5, episode 12, titled Both Things Can Be True. Garland, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, man? I'm feeling great. I can't complain. I just, try and make it do what it does. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's hard being the champ. I know we got some news coming up about that a little later about my
Yeah,
champhood and stuff. And so,
I,
just trying to maintain in this cold and brutal world.
I can't believe that you still talking about this. Like I didn't talk about it that much when I was champ. Granted, you've been champ for what, a good 6 months now, and that's not because you've been winning back to back. It's just because you've ducked me so long and ran with the title for 6 months. I mean, good gracious, man.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Hey, what up, Wood? Hey, Wood, you hear your guy over here? This your boy. This your boy over here talking trash and running, ducking me, running from me with the title. You know what I mean? He talk all this mess, but he ducking me out. But we got an announcement after this, so we'll discuss it there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it then, because heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it probably gets heavier because you've been wearing it so long. You're gonna get one of them crown rings around your forehead. You know, it's time to take it off, bro. Time to put it up on the line. You know what? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that another time. Hey, we got double duty to roll. We might as well jump right into it now.
All right, man, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna start with Queen Sugar first. And so what we see last night is, we kind of pick up where we left off the previous episode, and so we pick up with Charlie on the sofa. She can't move, so Davis has to break into the house to help her. And so I thought she was having a panic attack, but Calvin thought she had COVID, and Calvin was right. She has COVID, or she thinks she has COVID, because she hasn't been to the hospital to get any diagnosis, although Davis has been talking to 3 doctors on call or whatever. She believes she has COVID. And so, although she never makes it to the hospital to be tested by the doctors, Davis, he stays there, he takes care of her, and he helps nurses her back to death. I was a little nervous because, he's walking around with no mask, he's carrying her up the steps, he ain't got no hazmat suit on because, this thing is serious. And so, it was good to see, Davis kind of step in and, be that provider and, taking care of her and, because family really had a lot of other things going on. And so, do you think it's going to lead to Charlie and Davis getting back together?
Well, first of all, I'm wondering why their parish does not have 911. Like, why does it take so long for anyone
Right,
to call 911 in that piece? Like, he
right.
getting there telling them to turn over on your stomach, turn over. Let me call 911, bruh. Like, you are not a doctor. And of course, he took his mask off. He said, well, I've been here a couple of days, when a
Right.
dude trying to get back in, they gonna risk all health and everything for him.
He's like, F this COVID. I'm getting back up in here.
Exactly. But you know what? They might get back together because every dude, and I've seen it plenty of times because I've messed up so many times with women, and you come back and you do a couple gestures. I've seen that look quite a few times, and she gave him that look of you were here all night, and he just yeah, and then leaned back, and she oh, like in their mind they thinking. I mean,
Right.
he ain't that bad. Like he
Right.
wasn't
And I
all
still got
that
on my
bad.
clothes. And you've been here all night?
Yeah, he was only cheating a little bit. Maybe he didn't change. I'd have seen that look many a day. So to answer
Right.
your question, I think something gonna happen. She gonna play a little hard to get, but he gonna ease his way back in there. And he knew what was up. Cause bro, I wouldn't be sleeping. If I'm asleep, I'm asleep on the couch or I'm asleep next to her on the bed. I ain't gonna be sleeping on no chair all curled up.
Right,
I ain't
right.
playing
But
them games.
you already got the mask off, bro. Might as well go ahead and, do the little, see if you can move your hand up on the hip, then move it
Well,
on the shoulder. Get a
the
little
only
fork, little
the only
spoon.
problem is he don't want to do all that because you don't know if that COVID be like, come on, Davis, come on, Davis.
Right, Davis. He dumb, but he ain't stupid, as my aunt used
He
to
ain't
say. He
that
dumb, but he
dumb.
ain't
He ain't
stupid.
that dumb. I just don't understand why they don't call 911 around that piece. Like I just don't get it. I don't
Yeah,
understand. But
yeah. No, because
whatever.
Davis, like I told you last night, he stayed at a Holiday Inn overnight. He's a doctor. He knows what to do. Anyway, let's go on. So Blue, we see Blue. He's having nightmares about the encounter with the police that they had in the last episode, and so Darla's mother, Darlene, she's advocating to send Blue to Sidwell Friends in Washington D.C. Now, a prestigious Quaker school known for its rigorous education program, Sidwell Friends is also the school of choice for several presidents. As a matter of fact, the Obama daughters were the last to attend while Obama was in the White House. I think a couple of vice presidents that had children as well, their children attended Friends as well. So, very well known school. And so, Darlene used her connections to not only get Blue admitted, but to get a full scholarship. Because trust me, it's a grip. Okay. And so Darla doesn't want him to go away from his family. And she tells Vi, of course, she's going to go to Vi because Vi is the habitual line stepper. Vi, if anybody going to step over the line and do something, it's going to be Auntie Vi. And so Vi, she tells Vi, and also she tells Vi that she thinks Ralph Angel thinks it's a good idea. And we see Ralph Angel kind of struggling with this because he wants his boy to have a good education, and he knows that you can't get it in St. Joe's Parish. And so he wants to, get Blue the best education he can. And so he's pondering, but Vi promises to talk to Ralph Angel. And later on, she confronts Darlene so bad that Hollywood had to be like, yo, calm down, because you about to catch some charges up in here threatening people on the phone. Now, what do you think, man? Should Vi stay in her lane?
Yeah, man. Vi is way, way, way out of bounds on this one. And it looks like in the next episode she kind of gets put in a place by Ralph Angel. But yeah, so understanding Vi being the matriarch of the family now, and she's kind of the default matriarch. I don't think that anyone has ever just given her that role or anything, but she's kind of the default matriarch, so I guess she feels like she has to be in all decisions. Now, I will say that yes, she did take care of Blue while Ralph Angel was having his issues and while Darla was having her issues. And that does give you, I guess, some type of authority and possession over top of the child, but at a certain point you do have to realize that you are not the parent. And Darla is also seems to be holding on, and she alluded to how much time that she missed. So it's like she's trying to make up some time that she's missed with Blue also. And you can see Ralph Angel struggling because Ralph Angel understands how difficult it is in this world, and how giving him an advantage is probably going to be a good thing. He doesn't want Blue to leave. No one wants Blue to leave, but if you're thinking about his future, this may be the best thing for him. Where Darla is talking about she doesn't want him being raised by her rich mom and having those type of values. Ralph Angel is like, I got to break my back on this farm. I got to take this job in this nursing home. Like, I want to give him those advantages, So I think it's really going to blow up next week when we see what's going on. And another thing, what other children have it's Blue around in that area, and they're
Right.
talking about we can give him what he needs. He doesn't have any interaction. And just a quick story, my before I went to city, I had a chance to go to Gilman, and I
Hmm.
was, they came to the middle school and they were all trying to get me to go, and I was just like, yeah, I want to go. Told my mom was like, yeah, sounds good, let's talk to your dad. My father was like, nah. My father was just like, I'd want you to go to the best school, but I don't want you being isolated because it was school all day. I don't want you being isolated and then you're not able to talk to normal people that may not be on the level that you're on. I want you to be well rounded. Of course, being a preteen at that point, he's going to let me make the decision, or my mid-teens rather, he's going to let me make the
Hmm.
decision. But it was, just one of those things where he's trying to think about what's going to make me the most well-rounded, and I think that's where Ralph Angel is, and Darla and Vi aren't thinking that way.
Yeah, it definitely brings up the question of, what should we do to get our children the best education? Because there's also the underlining issue of, does he need to be around white children to learn? You know, um, because that's a legitimate beef for some people. Like, I ain't sending my boy or my girl to no private white school. I went to Catholic school mostly all my life, all the way up through the 10th grade, and so I had that experience, and then did the final 2 years in high school, in public high school. But there are legitimate debates today of, should I send my son to Gilman, or should I send my daughter to Roland Park Country, or something like that. And also people were scared of them losing their blackness in a sense.
Hmm.
I had two cousins that went to Baltimore Friends. It's so funny that they're talking about Sidwell Friends. My two cousins, one, oh, we were raised like siblings and all. My oldest cousin, well, we're 4 days apart, so we were raised like brothers. And so we basically were in the same grade, and he went to Friends Baltimore from kindergarten through the 12th grade, and his sister went from the sixth through the 12th grade. And the experience that they had, although they were in a majority white setting every day, they still lived a quote unquote black life. Church, activities, all this other stuff that they did,
Hmm.
but that was community based. They didn't lose identity. And I think sometimes, you have to make the sacrifices to get your children in the best education situations that they can be in. And so, yeah, I definitely see that struggle for Ralph Angel. And since they're close, and that's what I'm thinking, they're close to New Orleans. I'm sure there's possibly schools that are probably on the level of a Sidwell Friends, but they have Darlene's connection, and you getting a full ride. I mean, you're talking about
Yeah,
these type of
man.
schools. I remember my oldest daughter. There's a program in Baltimore. It's a special scholarship program to recruit black students into these uh, very prestigious private schools like Gilman and Bryn Mawr, and schools like that. And the tuition for lower school was like $40,000. This is elementary. This is like kindergarten through the fifth grade. The tuition was $40,000. Okay, and
It's
so
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. And so, yeah, for her to pull that type of string for Sidwell Friends to get your child there in a prestigious school, yeah, I can see the desire for Ralph Angel to have better for his son. And so we'll see how
You
that
know,
plays out because, yeah, definitely going to
I'm
see some fire in the next episode. Go ahead.
and I'm also thinking is, and I'm sure they all want the best for Blue, but is Vi more afraid that he's going to go to Darla's mother, his real grandmother, and maybe forget about her? She may be thinking about, he's going to leave me and just completely forget about me. So yeah, it we'll see what happens next week, but it's definitely a tough situation, and I understand the struggle from all sides.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, and then the final storyline that happened last night uh, was Calvin. He returns home, and him and Nova they engage in a conversation about marriage. Nova has basically kind of been, a little pushback when they've gotten to that, but after last week's episode, when she was, spending some time thinking about it more, she appears to be more open to going that way. And it's obvious that they love each other, but Nova has her apprehensions. But Calvin, he's willing to meet her where she is. Do you think this is a good thing for Nova that she finally goes ahead and, she gives into this?
Yeah, I'm not a big Nova fan right now. I so Calvin is, and Calvin is in the right. If there is a right or wrong, but Calvin is doing exactly what you would expect and what you would want him to do. Calvin is laying it on the line. He's
Right.
basically like, we've been together off and on. I'm here. Let's make it official. Like, what is it that I have to do to get you to make it official? And it seems to be, and she's not saying it, but her holdback just seems to be the fact that they're in a struggle of races and police against black people, and it just seems like her struggle is that. And I still don't understand why her struggle isn't the fact that he is a cheater. Like, he cheated with you. Why isn't your struggle that I got you under circumstances that I shouldn't have gotten you under, and maybe that could happen to me? Like, why not take the advice of his wife? Like, I don't understand what Nova's thinking, because if that's not your issue, then you need to be with this man. This man is down for you, and far be it for me to cape for any race other than black, especially during these times or during that time that it's taking place. But Calvin seems to be extremely genuine and dedicated to Nova. And she is literally blocking what seems to be her blessing, because she's struggling internally on something that, although she acts like she's been down for the cause forever, she's had her moments where you could kind of question what her real motives have been.
Definitely. It's so funny. That's what I really just got from that. It's like, okay, how can I be a down sister and marry this white guy? How can I represent that? It doesn't make you any less of a person who's down for the cause or pushing the agenda of need for black people. I mean, were had interracial relationships. I mean, Frederick Douglass and others,
Absolutely.
Booker T. Washington. And so, we can't just a lot. I know a lot of the hoteps are like, he ain't really black if he married to a white woman. Last year there was some movement to try to cancel Frederick Douglass. I'm like, what the heck? Are we canceling Frederick Douglass
Let me get
because
my
his
Umar
secular?
John. Let me get my Umar
Right.
Johnson in for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Mm, mm, mm.
You see, Charlemagne, because what the man trying to do. Yeah, and so it's like, come on, let's stop this. And yeah, I hope she resolves this because you can still be a down sister and be with Snowflake. It's cool. We still love you.
and
You can take your thickness to Snowflake. We're gonna miss you.
And but then when she gets her book deal with a predominantly white company, a book company, publishing company, she can always get in the interview and say, it's significant. It's very significant because I know that I'm one of the only black authors in this publishing company, and I'm proud to be black. But I'm also proud that my husband is white, and
Sorry, Huey
I'm
Davis.
no shout out to Hubert Davis,
Oh,
jerk.
God. Hubert Davis, Lord Jesus. Anyway,
But
why
yeah,
couldn't they
man,
go get?
I
Why couldn't
really
they go
think
get Phil Ford and just hire him? Hopefully, his
somebody
his
said
wife ain't
Rasheed
watching.
Wallace. I was like, you don't
Rasheed
want
Wallace.
Rasheed. They ain't ready for no Rasheed in them.
He be up on the sideline talking about ball don't lie. What the hell is that?
But yeah, man, I
Oh,
think
God.
Nova is just I don't know if she's confused. I don't know what's going on with Nova. I can't really. And Nova seems to have these struggles in every season. Like, you just, her intentions always seem to be good, but she seems to go left with everything, and it's just like, what's going on with you? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
you're trying too
thinking?
hard. Yeah, you're trying too
Exactly,
hard. Just
exactly.
just just get in the flow and live, Nova, please. Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens next week. We see this showdown between Ralph Angel and Vi about the whole school situation. Hollywood, he still has his struggles and dealing with the pain and the transition of his mother. Hopefully you see what happens with Charlie and as she gets back her strength and everything. And we see what happens with Nova. Looks like Nova is about to take on this new expose or this new case of this young man who was killed
Hmm.
while in police custody. And so we're going to see. And we only got two more episodes of Queen Sugar as they, yeah, just two more. So as they announced last night. And so we'll see what happens. And so, but we have at least six more episodes of This Is Us. And so This Is Us, I thought was, yeah, they said that last night. So we got at least six more episodes of This Is Us. And um, this was a good episode last night. Both things can be true. I really want to get into the storyline about Beth and Tess. And so um, Kevin and Madison, they're planning their wedding, and Kate, she's returned to work, and Toby, he's struggling with being a stay-at-home parent. But there were these three other storylines that really stood out last night from This Is Us, and so the first one was Randall. Randall, he's attending a group therapy session for transracial adoptees, in which a diverse group of people speak openly and honestly about the uncomfortable truths of their lives. And so it kind of showing that this thing of the way that multiple things can be true at once. That even though many of them love their adopted families, they carry the resentment of having grown up othered in their own homes and communities. And so, as a part of this therapy, Randall, he experiences the shock of realizing that other people share the feelings and fears that he thought were his alone. And so, what impact do you think this is going to have on Randall and Randall's story arc?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not sure if he was. It seemed like to me, I don't know if he was actually looking at it thinking he shared the story. I thought he was looking at it, maybe feeling guilty about how these other people were in these homes, and even though they liked the homes, they resented the homes. And Randall, I don't know if Randall ever really resented the not being with his biologicals, or if it was just the fact that he wished he would have known who they were. Because every flashback Randall had when they were talking about things like, yeah, my they didn't speak English and I really didn't, Randall was having these great memories, and it felt like Randall was maybe feeling a little guilty about how he was approaching the family that raised him, when they have shown him nothing but absolute love, and they've helped mold him. They've actually tried in some points to relate to his blackness, relate to his culture. So I'm not sure, but as far as the impact on him goes, I think he's going to start reevaluating what's really going on with him. And I don't think Randall really knows. I don't think anyone really knows. Randall has gone to counseling. He's definitely an overachiever. He's always one that wants to take care of someone. Like he told Beth, I'm an orator, so he likes to talk. He likes to get it out. But is that masking things that are still inside of him? Like, I think Randall is still struggling inside, and he really needs to get it out. Like, he's still not even ready to speak with Kevin about it. And I think next week we may start getting some things out from him.
Right, definitely. I'm looking forward to that conversation. I agree with you. I think, he saw his life as something different, but, yeah, he always carried that pain of not knowing, particularly about his mother. And, we got to resolve that early in the season. And so I really want to see how this conversation plays out with Kevin next week because, to come out there and kind of lay bare their feelings. This is going to be kind of like one of your get your box of tissue type joints because I want to see what happens with them. Now, Beth and Beth and Tess, their complex conflict over Tess's growing teen relationship with her non-binary significant other, Alex. She catches Alex and Tess laying across the bed. Looks like they're about to kiss, and she confronts them. And Tess calls her mother out of her name. And I'm surprised that Tess was still alive because ain't no way you're gonna talk to no black woman like that in her house and still live. Talking about why you come in my room. I know the house I grew up in. You ain't shut no doors in Ruth Thomas' house with company in it. I'm surprised that's still alive. But anyway, that's another story. I know it's TV. She can't beat her. But as a result, Beth she asked Alex to leave, and Beth she's struggling to wrap her head around the idea that her daughter won't be marrying a man, or what that future looks like. And Tess explains to her that while she appreciates that her mom is trying, it's also tough to watch her parent have to actively try to accept her and her identity in a way that she doesn't have to struggle with her siblings. And so, you know, um, what did you think about Beth last night? This was a struggle for Beth, and I think it's a struggle for a lot of people who um, are dealing, I don't want to say dealing like it's an issue, but are having that experience of your child or your family member who comes out, and then you're actually having to live in it. It's a different thing to say I am accepting of all people, and whatever you are is cool and I support it. But it's a different matter when you are the person who is personally affected, in terms of if it's your child or a sibling or a family member. How do you think Beth is doing with this?
Well, first of all, let me speak for everyone black that watched This Is Us last night with children of our own. I
Mhm.
wish one of my kids would call me psycho. You ain't
Right,
seen Psycho. You should have seen me blow up last night after she was like, oh, I'm sorry, my mom is psycho. But the little friend
right.
wouldn't have had time to leave
Your little friend
before I
about to see
snatched
you
her
get
up.
punched
Yeah,
out.
she wouldn't have had time to leave. But I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I think Tess is looking for something that may not be there, and I say that because if I walked in on my child, my daughter, and she was kissing a boy, I would have the same reaction. I don't know if it didn't seem like the reaction to me was because she was kissing a girl. It was just the fact that the door was closed and she was kissing. Period. Like I think Tess was reaching for something that was not really there. I think the struggle with Beth is trying to walk on these eggshells around Tess as opposed to just being a parent. Just be the parent to the child. She's trying to get the pronouns down. She's trying to make sure Tess and her friend feel like they're wanted there. But I don't think Beth really has an issue with it. Now, of course, her mom, when she sat down with her mom said, I thought this, and maybe you were thinking she was going to marry a boy and things changed. But I don't
Right,
know if Beth really had an issue with who she was seeing. Of course, it's a shock when they first heard it, but we're 2 seasons after she found out that Tess liked girls, so we're already past that. I really think that it was just the fact that Beth is not being a parent to her child. She's trying to be an understanding person to her child. Like, I understand what struggles you may go through, but Beth doesn't know those struggles. Just be a parent. If you're just a parent to the child, then nothing else matters. Like, she's going to be angry if she thinks you're jumping in her room. You're going to be angry if she's in her room with the door closed, laying on the bed, kissing someone else. It doesn't matter if it's a boy, girl, none of that matters. You're just be the parent. You don't have to, how many times have we heard, I'm not one of your little friends? You don't have to be her little friend. The
right,
struggle that Beth has, the real struggle that Beth is going to have is remembering these pronouns. Remember saying them instead of her, things like that. But being a parent does not have to be a struggle. You don't have to apologize for making her keep her
exactly.
door open. You don't have to apologize for knocking once and opening that door. You don't have to apologize for seeing your kid on the bed kissing when she knows she's not supposed to be and telling her friend to leave. You don't have to apologize for that stuff. That's being a parent. So I think Tess is reaching, and I think Beth is trying to navigate that instead of just being the parent to the child.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like what Deshaun said. Deshaun said it would be a struggle for most parents, and to do this proper pivoting. Um, it's okay to struggle. I think a lot of times, uh, people don't give the other person who's receiving the news enough time to digest and to accept. Yeah, it's been 2 seasons or whatever, but when you're living through it and you're thinking, well, maybe it's a phase, or maybe I have to start seeing it, and this is the first time that she's seeing it of a physical person, and we have this physical relationship, and adjusting to that, that's a whole different thing, and so I think Beth is doing the best that she can to be as supportive as she can, and I think Tess has to kind of relax and say, "Hey, mom, I know this is going to be a struggle, but as we keep on working at it, it'll get better. You become more comfortable." Now, does Randall have similar issues with Tess' identity and her significant other? We've never really seen this. I mean, what do you think Randall feels about this? How come he's not helping Beth with this process?
Well, first, just let me say real quick. Also think Tess is having guilt of her own because she compared herself to the other girls, saying, "I know you don't have issues with them, but you have issues with me." Like that's something that Tess is dealing with inside. That doesn't have anything to do with Beth because Beth has never said anything like, "I don't have these issues with Deja." I don't, because Beth literally went up there because Deja was like, "Well, damn, I can't be in the room with the door closed. Like, how she get to do that?"
Right,
Um,
right,
you know, us men, and I think I just let it out. Us men are a little different. Like, it's like, listen, here's the bottom line. I don't care who you see, but these are the rules. So I don't think Randall has those issues. I think Randall just has a set of rules. These are the rules. You know what I mean? If you
hmm
violate the rules, you're in trouble. Now, Randall also has his own issues that he's dealing with. So he hasn't really probably been able to actually sit down and get into it or discuss it. But remember at the dinner table the other week, Randall was just sitting there like, so yeah,
right,
how about
right.
those Lakers? Men,
Randall,
we're a little
right,
different when it comes to issues with our daughters. We're just kind
hmm
of like, okay. I mean, what'd your mom say? Like, what your mom think about that?
right,
Um,
definitely,
we want to be we. I think a lot of times we want to be told. We want the mother to say to us, "You know what she did? This," and then we can go in the room and be like, you wasn't supposed to do that. You can't do
right,
that." I think we kind of want to be that when it comes to the daughters. You know what I mean? So I think
right.
Randall may be taking that approach right now.
Okay, we're gonna see what happens, and so let's talk about your boy Miguel, because I know you are a Miguel hater, and so back in the 1970s, we in the flashback portion of the show, we see Miguel helping Jack prepare for his big proposal to Rebecca, and ultimately becomes his best friend's knight in shining armor when Rebecca's dad shows up with the most half-assed of apologies. Please don't put us on probation, YouTube. It's just a minor curse word. In the present day, Kevin asked Nikki and Miguel to work together, in planning some of the activities for the upcoming nuptials. And so this gives Nikki a chance to share his displeasure about Miguel and Rebecca's marriage. And so Nikki's concerns are about Miguel and Rebecca's marriage stem from a deeper place, the fear that Jack replaced him with Miguel after their falling out. And so Miguel, he helps Nikki understand that even though Jack cut his little brother out of his life after Vietnam, he never entirely forgot him either. And so, do you think this, we can give Miguel a break and not label him an opportunist anymore? Because, Miguel, hey, I married her 13 years after the fact. And, you know, um, no,
I don't
he's
care. I don't care how many years it is. I don't care. I wanted Miguel to get all that smoke. when Miguel started with the smoke, I was like, let's go. Let's go. I wanted Miguel to get all of it. I wanted Nikki in Miguel's ass. Like, man, no. First of all, I'm like the Nikki when we're watching it, because as soon as like Dad came in, I was like, "Oh, Dad, how about you meet her current fiance and her future fiance?" I am not a Miguel fan at all. Why did Miguel keep asking Jack? Well, let's go through it. Get down on your knee, because you wanted to see how you was going to propose to her later on in life. I do not like Miguel. I needed Nikki to hit Miguel in his mouth. I don't care. It's not a day that goes by that I don't think about, is this right? You know it ain't right. If you gotta keep thinking about it, you know it ain't right. Why'd you? No, no. I'm so mad that Nikki let him off the hook and said the issue isn't you, it's me. No, the issue is him. The issue is Miguel should not be with his best friend's wife. I don't care how dead he is. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you right now, something happened to me, Garland. If you and Katina ever get married, I'm haunting you for the rest of your life. Like every time you wake up, I'm gonna be right over top of you. I'm going to be the ghost of husband past, the ghost of husband present, and the ghost of husband future. I'm not having. I don't know. No. F Miguel. No. I wish Nikki would have hit him in his mouth. And they need to deal with it again. They ain't deal with it long enough. And then Miguel gonna make some speech and be like, "No, sir, that's not good enough because this guy waited here." The only reason Miguel stood up for Jack is because he needed Jack to get in there and loosen her up so he could ease in from the back after Jack died. Everything Miguel does in the past was a way for him to get next to Rebecca in the future. I ain't trying to hear. No,
So
no, no.
what are you saying, that Miguel is a time traveler and he knew this, and so he set up the past for the future?
What I will give Miguel is Miguel played the long game. Miguel was just like, one day, one day, Rebecca, one day, one
What
day.
do you think he was on the side like, yeah, Jack ain't treating you right. Jack don't really love
Exactly.
me.
The first time they slept together, he was probably like, "I bet Jack ain't do this to you. I bet Jack ain't do this to you." No, no, nope,
So
nope. I
so
ain't trying
Miguel was like,
because
he was like,
because
Mario, you should let me love you.
exactly. Because look, check this out. How is Miguel? How did they all of a sudden become so close? And all Miguel did was sell him a suit. I done bought many a suits, and none of them dudes at Burlington has ever became my best friend. He seen him with Rebecca one day and was like, oh, that's yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna
Bro,
get
I
that.
mean, I think we should give Miguel some grace. Miguel, I think just Miguel gets too much smoke. I mean, Miguel is a guy that really helped the family pick up the pieces.
Oh,
And
I bet he did. I bet he did pick up the pieces. He picked up the pieces of Rebecca, and when she was just and Becca, he put them together and made her Rebecca. Let me tell you something. Miguel is probably an Usher fan because Miguel had a wife too, and he probably looked and was like, "You make me want to leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you." No, who said F Miguel? Thank you, Wood. F Miguel. I'm sorry. Jack gets on my nerves because they keep showing him they shouldn't have killed him, but they
right.
really shouldn't have killed him because now Miguel is all up in her. No, I ain't trying to hear
I'm, t- I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm tired of the flashbacks. I just want to go ahead. We got enough meat to deal with the stories of today. This whole going back with the whole Jack thing. Okay, it was cute the first couple episodes. I understand. I mean, first couple seasons. I understand. That the whole death of Jack and all that stuff. But let's just let's just
why.
think
Why kill him?
Miguel. Yeah,
Why
that's
kill
what
him if
I'm
he
saying.
gonna show up in
Why was
every
he killed
episode?
up if he keep on showing up every week?
Every episode. I've been saying it from the beginning. Every
For no
episode.
for no reason. For what? I don't care
Every
if he
episode.
put the ring on Miguel in the ring got stuck. But
Miguel
anyway.
was probably hoping the ring got stuck until he actually saw Rebecca, and then he could give it to her himself.
Oh God.
Listen.
Anyway.
I've never said this publicly. I'm gonna say it now, and it's only because of Miguel. If I was around when Miguel and Jack had first met, I would have been yelling, "Build that wall," because we need to keep Miguel out of this country because he going after our women. Jack, you need to come back and hunt. They need to have a flashback of him being like, "Yo,
So
you with my woman?"
what Jack gonna be like? It's gonna be like the movie Ghost. He gonna be like, oh, they gonna be on the pottery thing, and he gonna be like, ooh.
Exactly. He gonna start. Remember when Patrick Swayze was trying to fight the robbers? That's what he gonna
Yeah.
be doing to Miguel, swinging on him. Yeah, I hate Miguel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
sorry. I
sorry.
didn't
I
mean to
hate
get you
Miguel.
so upset about
I
Miguel.
hate Miguel. I
I'm
can't stand him.
sorry.
I can't stand. I really love This Is Us. I just literally think that storyline is absolutely ridiculous. Miguel has no reason to be on that show. There's nothing Miguel has ever done for that show that we need him. Miguel can leave and we would not miss him at all.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna punch Nikki though. I thought
I
Nikki
wish he
he
would
was
have punched Nikki.
I
I'd have
thought I
punched
thought he was
him.
gonna kind of like why like don't worry about what I'm doing with your brother ex wife.
You know Nikki crazy though. You know Nikki
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what I mean. Maybe he ain't want none of that smoke because
He
he
ain't
know
want that smoke. He
Nick.
ain't want
Yeah,
that smoke.
Nikki might have a flashback in a rice paddy or something. Think he's still over in Vietnam or something. Think he Rambo. Yeah, he ain't want that smoke. And so yeah, y'all, that was last night's episode, and so I'm looking forward to what happens in the coming weeks. We got 6 more episodes of This Is Us, and we only got a couple more episodes of Queen Sugar. We know there's a new show coming on Amazon that is produced by Jordan Peele and your girl
Well, it's
Lena
Lena
Waithe.
Waithe. Lena
Lena Waithe.
Waithe. It's called Them, and it starts, I
Them.
believe, this
Hmm.
Friday. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it and see if it's something that we want to discuss. But we do know that the Shy is coming back the end of May. So all the Shy fans, we're definitely going to pick the Shy back up. We know Ronnie is gone, and a couple of y'all might be heard about that, but we got to pick the Shy back up. Hopefully, it'll be better this season. They've had some time to regroup and rewrite and all. I seen in the previews
I want to,
Candy is still
yeah.
in there. I'm still gonna be
Candy,
there. Here you
is
go. Here
Candy
you
still
go.
there pulling
Yeah,
strings for the
she's still
pizza
there.
king?
Also, your boy Garland finally signed the contract. I got his signature right here. Got his signature right here. He finally signed the contract for the battle. It is going to be next Thursday at what are we going to do? 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere around that time. It's going to be next
Yeah.
Thursday, and we are battling Black movie soundtracks. So songs
Hmm.
that originated in Black movie soundtracks will be battling against each other. So we definitely want everybody there so you can vote for me, and the title can come back to its rightful owner. Garland has had it too long. I mean, he's overstayed the lease of it. I let him borrow it, because clearly New Edition should be Boys to Men, but whatever. We get some haters in there, people that hate me and seem to like. See, Garland is a deacon, so he get all his church folk in there, and they be like, they get in there and they be like,
Hallelujah! Yes, Deacon, we with you.
they look at me, be like, we can't vote for that heathen. We can't do it. Speaking of church folks and heathen, if you haven't seen Aretha on on Hulu, you gotta watch it. Did you see Aretha, Garland?
Yes, I did.
It is amazing. I didn't think it was going to be
Yeah,
that good.
yeah. It
It is
was
very
good. It was
good.
good. I was kind of concerned about her daddy. They did daddy kind of really dirty. They did daddy
Yeah.
kind of dirty.
Did they do him
Daddy,
dirty? Because
well, daddy was dirty. He
I
was
was about to
dirty.
say, because I Googled him
Daddy
after,
was
and I was
dirty.
kind of like, this seems to be pretty accurate.
Yeah, daddy has some issues, and yeah, they kind of, yeah, daddy. Daddy, Daddy liked a good power youth, and so
Yeah, the Reverend CL was he
yeah,
was
the
a
Reverend
character.
CL, he,
He is a character.
yeah,
Hey, if and I don't know, I guess Hulu would be Emmy Awards because it's actually a series, and that should be up for Emmy Awards. I don't know the criteria or how they judge it,
right,
but Courtney Vance played the role amazingly. The story was great. Cynthia Erivo, who I didn't think Harriet Tubman movie was that good. She actually shined in this Aretha movie. So
right.
I mean Aretha series. So I thought that was very good. So if you didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it, you
it
should
was good.
definitely
And
watch
they
that.
had one on Mahalia on Lifetime. I very rarely do I watch Lifetime, but
Was that good?
yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it. Mahalia was a mess too. And so we starting to see everybody life. I don't know if we want to know all this stuff about people, or do we just want to keep on living with the fairy tale because yeah, Mahalia, she had some she was a little messy too, so
I caught that power you also. Whoever said that
you
you
go to
mentioned you, I
Molly, I
caught
can
that.
already say it. I know
I was just gonna
anybody
let
what to do
I was just
about
gonna let it
me.
ride. I was
I'm
just
trying
gonna
to
let it
keep
ride.
I try to keep our YouTube count alive. So
So what Garland is referring to after the broadcast last week, I got an email overnight that I woke up to that said we had been kicked off of the YouTube platform because of violations. And I was like, well, what are we violating? So I responded to them and I told them, it's not like we're using clips or anything because you can't use clips of
right,
shows. Can't use music. I said, we're not doing any of that. Maybe I thought it could have been the language. And I was like, if it's any of the language, you can remove those. So they came back to me 2 days later, basically saying, like, we're sorry, we made a mistake. And they reinstated us on YouTube. So, granted, don't none of y'all follow us on YouTube or go to watch us on YouTube, but just in case anyone wants to at any time, you still can now because we are
we're
on
there.
YouTube again.
Well, I want to tell the people before I leave tonight. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun. And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down when I defend my music title next week. Woo!
So it looks like I'm gonna have to find me a wrestler, and I know exactly the wrestler that I'm gonna get because it's my favorite wrestler. Ric Flair is top two for me, or
All
top
right, don't
three
come
for
up here
me,
with
and
no
he's
Coco
not three.
Beware.
Whose favorite wrestler is Coco Beware?
I don't know. Just don't do
If
it.
Coco Beware is your favorite wrestler, then you really weren't in the wrestling. Like, who is?
Somebody might come up here and talk about they Coco Beware
No,
Chief J
no, sir,
Strongbow or something. Don't do
no,
it.
sir. Chief J Strongbow got beat up so bad by Mr. Saito, Mr. Fiji. He was
When
going
he threw the
around.
salt in his eye.
Yeah, and he had his brother with him, but then they won the title, so it doesn't, Mr. Fiji and Mr.
Right.
Saito couldn't handle him. Anyway,
Oh God.
hey, we want to
Anyway.
thank everybody for showing up. Looks like we doubled our numbers from last week because we were at like two or three. Looks
Woo!
like we had nine. Son, we on the rise. I'm trying to tell you, we on the rise. When the shy get here, we might be up to 11 people. Hey, tell your friends. We back on YouTube, especially when YouTube bang you. People got watched then. YouTube was trying to ban us. They was trying to kick us off. We might have to get one of those parental labels on there, one of those,
Right, right,
parental
right.
guidance warnings on this joint, yo. We rolling
We was
right now.
banned. Yeah, that's right. We dangerous.
Hey man, once again, this is All Things Black with Garland and Calvin. I'm Calvin. He is Garland. We thank you
Garland.
all for joining us. We will see you next week when we will do double duty again, and then we have the music battle coming up. All right, everybody, stay safe out here. All right, Garland, I'll see you later,
All right,
sir.
Cal.